Where I get the ideas for my stories is really from everyday life. Usually when something irks me, when there's a contradiction between what I want and what I'm doing, really. It's like, how come I can't just do the thing that I know is good? You know? Like quitting smoking, you know? Or, I mean, that's a really boring example, but like, why can't we just be good? What's keeping us from doing that? And the examples of that are infinite. I usually get a voice in my head that is the story, you know, dying to be told, and I kind of have to figure it out, or it starts picking at me and until I can't ignore it. But I really don't ever, you know, pre-think a story. I'm just like, oh, I think the next story is going to be this.
If you're trying to look at the sort of themes that are sort of consistent through the collection, I came up with words like alienation. A lot of these characters are sort of on their own, and often trying to find somebody to connect with, and it's their inability to do that that's the sort of the crux of the story. There are slight misfit characters as well, but there's a lot of humour as well. I mean, they're quite dark stories, but they're often very blackly funny as well. People have responded in the same way, I guess, to Eileen. There is that darkness there. Are you surprised that people maybe don't find them as funny as you do?
Well, okay, a couple of things. Like the first thing is, when I write them, I'm not thinking, oh, this will be funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, oh, he would probably say something like that now. And I'm just kind of riffing. And then there's a lot of editing that happens. I don't think of myself as a comedic writer. Comedy just happens because that's life.
Yeah.
And I also I love pushing a character just like a little bit over the edge so that they seem ridiculous. And, but I'm not really trying to make people laugh per se. I don't see myself as an entertainer. And then to the second part of your question about people who's like, oh, that's really twisted and dark. I mean, it's like, yeah, there are different kinds of people. Some people are made very uncomfortable by anything that isn't peachy keen, you know? And who knows why they are that way. I find those people really boring, sorry, you know? Like, if you don't like my work, that's fine. There's trillions of books that won't disturb you. What isn't twisted and dark?
Yeah.
What isn't? Look around.
Yeah.
I mean, twisted and dark means new and interesting. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth.
There's often as well, there's a focus on amazing physical detail, which I don't think you see a lot in writing, and particularly not about female characters. There's been a bit of sort of shame and disgust in a lot of male writing. You mentioned Portnoy's Complaint when we were talking earlier, which is a book which is filled with male physicality. But your female characters, Eileen, and in these stories as well, often are very fixated on parts of their body and the process of being physical. Do you know where that comes from, or why that's something that you seem to sort of focus on in the writing?
I don't think that it's something I focus on. I think it's something that most people ignore.
Right.
Getting back to my curiosity about this conflict, an internal conflict about what I believe and what I'm doing. Is my behavior a demonstration of my sense of reality or not? Well, we all go around saying like, oh yes, we accept and enjoy everybody and every variety of human, and it isn't fair to discriminate. Yet those are the same people who spend 8 hours at the gym, go on diets, go to tanning salons, etc. So and I'm not judging them at all. I have compassion for both sides of this conflict. But isn't it weird that we both strive to